we have, over the past 10 plus years that we've been in business, collected literally billions of opt-outs. And obviously, while we get the email address with that, we also get a lot of user agent data. So we do know a bit about who these people are, or some of the data that goes along with the activity of them opting out. So over the past couple of years, we put together some infographics to kind of share that data. Some of this is really actionable for you on the mailing side or as advertisers, because this is all really good information to know, because these are folks that are sending you signals. You know, they're telling you they don't want to hear from you anymore. And that is a valuable signal to gain some learnings from, as opposed to, I think a lot of folks, the natural inclination is to focus on the positive. I want to focus on my click and conversion rates. But there's all kinds of great learnings in these negative marketing signals. So we'll go into that a little later, but wanted to kick it off with a bunch of stats and just kind of give you an overview of what opt-out behavior looks like. So here's kind of just a very geographic look of opt-out trends from 2019. Not surprisingly, the vast majority of the opt-outs that we see on our system are coming from North America, a little over 90%, but it kind of encompasses the whole world to some extent. This is just kind of the interesting fact that we have now actually received opt-outs from every single continent, including Antarctica, which I thought, I don't know if there's a big community of consumers in Antarctica to mail to, but somebody's mailing to them. We start to see when opt-outs are actually occurring. And again, from a mailing standpoint, I think this is useful for you guys. We tend to see that Monday's biggest day for opt-outs during the week, and then you see a bit of a typically kind of a downward trend for the rest of the week, and then it starts to bump up again, into Sunday. Digging in even a little bit deeper, we look at hour of the day. This is pretty consistent for every day of the week. Changes a little bit, but in general, it's right around lunchtime, and this is Central Standard Time. Right around lunchtime is when we get the most opt-outs, and that maybe what's most interesting here for me is that this holds up on Monday as well, where you might think if people are getting into the office or getting into their email Monday morning, the first thing they might do is go through their junk and all their marketing emails and opt out of things that they don't want to receive anymore. But that doesn't necessarily seem to be the case. It's pretty consistent that people are taking this activity within their email kind of during the middle of the day. So we see this sort of ramp up from people waking up in the morning, perhaps getting into the office, and then the evening. And again, that's pretty consistent throughout the entire week. This probably is not going to surprise anybody, although the significance of the percentage may be bigger than what you think. But we also, in that user agent data, we get to see what kind of device people are opting out on. And right now, it's 74% of the opt-outs we received during our sample data in 2019 came on mobile phones or mobile devices, and only 26% on desktop. I think it's fair to say we're going to see that continue in 2020 when we run this data again. So again, if you're not optimizing for mobile devices, if your campaigns aren't ultra friendly on smaller screens, certainly we're seeing from an opt-out standpoint, that is the vast majority of the activity that we're getting. We get to look at all the email domains that we're receiving the opt-outs from. Biggest by far is Yahoo at basically 34%. Gmail comes in at 18%. I won't read them all off. But then you skip all the way back, and I don't know how many people still have Earthlink email addresses, but apparently there's still a decent number of you out there, because literally 1% of the opt-outs we saw in 2019 came from Earthlink. My parents had an Earthlink account. I didn't know it still existed, in all honesty. Yeah. But we do still see, we get a fair amount. You can see the 14% are coming from a lot of really tiny email domains. That's still a fair amount of activity in the grand scheme of things. But again, another, I think, interesting to look at again, if you're mailing and you've got a file, is what kind of, does this match the percentages that you're seeing? Are the vast majority of emails in your database, are they Yahoo emails? Just I think it's an interesting thing to kind of do this comparison based on your database compared to what we're seeing on the full aggregate kind of trend.